In this video, we'll take a look at another performance suggestion that will help people who are managing their site with WordPress. One of the high priority red flags you'll see in the page speed tests is for you to leverage browser caching. The same way that Cloudflare stores snapshots of your content on different servers for faster delivery, browser caching means making sure that your visitor's web browser temporarily stores a copy of pages they've already loaded. The next time they visit that page, they won't need to get the data from your site because it's cached in their browser for a certain amount of time. That will speed up your site dramatically and make it much more efficient by doing this and a few other functions to combine and compress files before sending. In the Add Plugins section of WordPress, do a search for W3 Total Cache. This will integrate really easily with Cloudflare, and I recommend that you try it out by installing and activating it for immediate benefits. The control panels for this plugin will show up on your dashboard as a tab on the left called Performance, and you can also find the most important features in the new Performance drop-down menu at the top. Click on the General settings to open up the main W3 Total Cache options. While scrolling down the page, you'll see a ton of new stuff, and this plugin can be really overwhelming and complicated for beginners, but don't worry. We could spend hours going through all of these settings, so luckily, there's a way for you to just upload the ones that are working best for people. Keep going all the way down to the bottom of this page until you see the Import-Export settings. If you ever experiment and weird things start to happen with your site, there's a very good chance that it's caused by this plugin because of how powerful it is. It's nice to know that you can reset the configuration anytime and start fresh by clicking Restore Default Settings. Under this video, you'll find a W3 Total Cache configuration file to get you started, so make sure you've downloaded that to your computer. Now you can click Browse beside Import Configuration and find that file, then upload it. After making changes to these settings, you'll sometimes get messages at the top of the screen asking you to empty the cache, so go ahead and click any of those buttons. You can also hit the ones to hide any other messages that you see there. The next thing we'll do is make sure that Cloudflare and this plugin are working together. Hover over the top Performance menu and select Manage Extensions. Now find the Cloudflare extension and then activate it. When you see the Settings option appear, you can click on that and then hit the Authorize button so we can connect W3 Total Cache to your Cloudflare account. First, type your address into the email box. To get your API key, open a new browser tab, head over to cloudflare.com and log in. If you ever need to deactivate Cloudflare, you can open the advanced options and just put it on pause, or choose to delete the site from your account. Right now though, scroll down a bit and click Get Your API Key. A little further down you'll see a button to View API Key, so hit that to open it up. Make sure your password is entered into the box and confirm that you're not a robot so you can view the API key. Copy the code that you see there and then close the Cloudflare tab. Now you can paste that into the API key box and click Next. The zone that you see here should be your domain name, so select that and then Next. After this account is authorized and connected to the plugin, you'll have access to all of the main Cloudflare options from here instead of having to log into their site. The analytics will be the only thing you might want to go back there to check from time to time, but stuff like the email obfuscation and hot link protection can now be turned on and off from inside of WordPress. Don't worry about all of these other settings, because you should already have a much faster and more efficient website. Open up a new tab and try running one of the page speed tests again to see if it worked. You'll probably find that your scores have gone way up and can expect to see a huge improvement. Anything in the 80s or 90s will give you an above average page speed, and that's going to help your Google scores and make sure that you don't lose impatient visitors while waiting for your site to load. The only trick to using this plugin is that you'll have to start emptying the cache after making any changes to your site. Just hover over the Performance menu at the top and click Purge All Caches. That'll make sure nobody is looking at an older copy of the page instead of your update. If you did some design work or added a new post and can't see it when you visit your site from outside of the WordPress preview environment, this is probably why. Start by trying a simple screen refresh, but if that doesn't do the trick, you might have forgotten to purge the cache. If you've done that and still can't see your new content, it might be stuck on the old Cloudflare snapshot. Go back to Manage Extensions, open those settings again, and then use the button to purge the Cloudflare cache. Clearing your caches can sometimes take 15 or 20 seconds to complete, maybe even longer, so be patient. Wait until you see a message at the top confirming that it's been successfully emptied before you log out and check your site. Having to do this might slow you down a little behind the scenes while publishing and making changes, but it's definitely worth it for the performance boost your site gets. W3 Total Cache is a very complicated plugin that will work differently depending on your WordPress theme, and there are lots of things that can go wrong. If your site starts to do anything weird and things disappear, your layout changes, or you get strange error messages, it's probably caused by a conflict between your theme and the plugin. Always start by disabling it to see if that fixes the problem, and if you find that it just doesn't play nice with your setup and gives you too much trouble, it's really not the end of the world to forget about using it. Cloudflare will still be able to do all of the most important stuff, but in that case, it's a good idea to go back into the speed settings and activate the 3 minify boxes. You can also experiment by turning off the rocket loader and seeing how that affects your page speed scores. When W3 Total Cache seems to be running smoothly and is helping your page speed, there are a couple of other small adjustments that you can make for an extra boost. Under your Performance menu in the left sidebar, click on Page Cache. Now scroll down a while until you see the advanced options. Compatibility mode will be checked by default, but if you haven't had any problems so far, it's worth turning that off and seeing if everything still works okay. Make sure to scroll down and save, then empty the page cache by clicking that button. Checking your page speed again might show a small improvement. If you added the Yoast SEO plugin, which is a very good idea, scroll down the page cache settings again until you get to the cache preload area. In the box that says sitemap URL, type in your domain name, followed by a /, then sitemap_index.xml, and save all settings. That'll give the plugin a better guide to the structure of your site and help speed things up a little more. Do one last scan in GTmetrix and make sure that these changes are actually improving your scores without giving you any errors. In the next unit, we'll wrap everything up and take a final look at how you can make your website more secure.